All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. So welcome all of you brave, amazing business owners who are ready to take the Power of Five challenge. My hope is that we have a bunch more who are brave enough to listen to the replay too, because I want this to be something that just skyrockets our entire team into the new year. So I'm going to just, tonight, normally these calls are not training. They're going to be discussion. But tonight, I just want to go over just a little bit so you guys know what you're getting in for here and you know how it's going to work, and answer any questions that you have. Really, these calls are going to be to see each other, to say, how's it going? Hey, Carrie. To support each other, to ask questions, just to support you through this and support all of us through this. So the first thing I want you to know is your leaders are doing this with you. Whenever possible, they're going to be joining you on the calls, but they will be doing the 5 reach outs with you. So this isn't something that we're saying, oh yeah, if you're new, you should do this. But those of us who've been around, nah. This is something that wherever you are at in your business, it can completely light a candle, light a fire, light a rocket under your business and help you grow. So the basics, if you're a member of the Givers Favorite Things group, I'd strongly suggest that you watch the video that Jen Griswold posted in there a couple days ago. It's of her friend Sarah LeBlanc. And basically that's what started all of this. Jen was talking to Sarah, and Sarah, I don't think she said this on the video, but basically Sarah was kind of a rock star because she grew from around 100,000 in team volume, which is a lot, to over 1 million in 1 year. That's crazy growth. That's incredible. And so Jen was saying, how the heck did you do that? Like, how did you go from 100,000 to 1 million? That doesn't just mean she grew. That means everyone on her team was growing. So Jen was saying, how do you do that? How do you help everybody grow that fast? And Sarah said, well, it really just came down to these standards that we had on our team of 5 reach outs a day, 5 follow-ups a day, and 5 new Facebook friends a day. And we made that the standard. We worked it that way consistently. And the next thing you knew, everybody's business started exploding. So Jen decided we should try that on our teams. She put the challenge out to all of the leaders to talk to your teams and say, hey, who wants to do this with me? So then I put the challenge out to all of our Daring Greatly leaders. So all of our level 5 and ups. And so I'm thinking leaders like Becky Sears-Chapman, who's on with us tonight, Shannon Hogan, Stephanie Wallace, Becky Strope, Marcy Dunphy, Jess Lee, Jen Fairbanks, all these names, Ovita Elliott. I know I'm going to forget somebody now that I started naming them all. I don't want them to watch the video and be like, oh, you forgot me. But you guys know all these amazing leaders who love you and support you and want to grow. But you know what? They want to grow their businesses too. So they're all wondering how to do that. And we agreed we're going to do this challenge, but we're going to do it right alongside you. So that's where this began. So here's how it's going to work. Basically, the 5 challenge, as I said, first of all, it's 5 new reach outs a day. And I know as soon as we say that, the question is, okay, what's a reach out? So this is not a challenge where I'm going to be looking over the spreadsheet and be like, Carrie, you only did 4 last Wednesday, and Andrea, you only did 3 on Tuesday. This is about you and your business. It's not about anybody policing you. So ultimately, it's going to be up to you to decide what is a reach out. In your heart, you know if you're working or not, right? I mean, if I just sit here and text my 5 best friends and say, hey, how was your weekend? Hey, how was your weekend? Hey, how was your weekend? And then say, oop, 5 reach outs done. I know those aren't reach outs, right? So we're not going to spend a ton of time defining for you what a reach out is because it's your business. You know, you decide what a reach out is. But understand this, a reach out does not have to be, hi, my name's Kristen and I'd like to tell you about Rodan and Fields. It's a fantastic new company. No, we are here to build relationships. That's how our business is going to grow. So especially this time of the year, a reach out could be as simple as, loved seeing your Christmas pictures on Facebook. Happy New Year. It's reopening conversations with people, re-engaging them. When they write back and say Happy New Year to you, you say thanks. What's new? And then they say, not much. What's new with you? Oh my gosh, super excited. My business is growing and my kids just went back to school this week. Your business? What kind of business? Okay, so you're getting the picture here. It's a back and forth, right? Other times it may be a more specific, you've been on my mind. I think you'd be great at my business. Could we get coffee sometime? So it's going to be up to you to decide, but I don't want you guys to feel this massive pressure like, oh my gosh, 5 reach outs. What does that look like? It's whatever it looks like to you. We're going to talk more in a minute about what to say, but the first question I knew would be, okay, what's a reach out? So there it is. Then 5 follow-ups. Again, as you're messaging people, they're going to message you back. So then when you respond to their message, it's a follow-up. You can't lose track of those people, right? You can't send all those, hey, loved seeing your kids on Facebook, and then when they write back, say nothing to them. You've got to be ready. So not only you're going to do 5 reach outs, you're going to do 5 checkbacks, follow-ins, ups, touches, whatever you want to call it. And then 5 new friends on Facebook. Now again, be smart about how you do your relationships, right? So I'm not going to friend someone today and then immediately when I friend them say, oh, and hey, by the way, let's talk about RNF. No, right? That makes people want to run. So you're going to friend them and then just watch what they're doing. Comment on their posts. Like the picture of their puppy. Get to know them again on Facebook. And then when it feels right, you can reach out and talk to them. In the meantime, if you're posting your own stuff, they may reach out to you before that. But just understand that it's not an overnight thing. It's not something that needs to happen super quickly. That's why you're adding new people every day. So part of this call is going to be to help you through those 5s. The 5 reach outs, 5 touchbacks, and 5 Facebook connections each day. Because that can sound really scary and overwhelming. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to give you a few more details of how this is going to work. Your nearest upline level 5 is going to create an accountability spreadsheet for you. Again, this is not where someone's going to pour over the spreadsheet and call you out if you miss a day. This is for you. This is for your business. So you get to decide what it is that's going to be important for you and how it's going to work for you. Let's see. I'm going to mute a couple people just a second. Sorry, I'm still hearing feedback from somebody, so I'm trying to mute. All right, get ready. I'm muting everybody. Now the panels on this are pretty rare, and they're in decent shape. All right. Sorry about that. We'll unmute y'all later when we want to talk, but I was getting some feedback from somebody's television. Okay, so your nearest level 5 is going to have a tracking spreadsheet. The spreadsheet will have your name. You'll have your own little section, and then it'll have tabs along the bottom for each week. Within each week, there will be a day, and on the day, there'll be lines for 5 names. So let's just say you work Monday through Friday. Monday, you'll write the 5 names of who you reached out to. Tuesday, you'll write the 5 names. Wednesday, you'll write the 5 names. Now, this is 5 reach outs a day, 5 days a week. You decide what works for your business, okay? If it doesn't work for you to do Monday through Friday, then maybe you do Wednesday through Saturday. It's up to you to figure out which days. And honestly, you have to figure out how to make this work for you. So maybe it's not 5 days. One of our top leaders, Stephanie Wallace, she built her business while she was working a full-time 60-hour-a-week job. There were some days where she did no reach outs, but she always got them in within the week. So if you have to do 25 reach outs in 2 days, do what works for you, okay? It's going to be easier, I'm telling you, if you break it out, five a day. But I understand you have your life, and again, nobody's policing you. You don't have to ask, Kristen, is it okay if I do them on 3 days instead of I don't care. You're your own boss, okay? You just got to get your 25 in. Okay, so on your spreadsheet, the other thing you're going to see is next to each name that you track on there, there's going to be 12 little tiny boxes. Those 12 little boxes are for you to put an X in every time you touch that person. Because we know the average person takes anywhere from 10 to 12 interactions before they're ready to make a decision. So this is going to help you remember, oh, who did I talk to the first week? And when's the last time I connected with her? Maybe I should reach back to her again. It's going to help you keep track of how many times you talk to each of these people. And it's also going to help you mentally when you're starting to think, what the heck? Why has nobody said yes to me? You can go back and look and say, oh, well, because I've only touched each person once. No wonder I'm not getting where I need to be. So this should give you some good tracking so you can see what you're doing and who you're talking to. Again, your nearest level 5 should be posting that sheet on your team pages. So I'm talking about Team Fusion, Team Believe, Lux & Co. Each of your individual teams, your leaders will help you get you on a spreadsheet. The reason we're doing it that way is we've had almost 100 people say they want to join us on this Daring Greatly challenge. And I feel like a spreadsheet with 100 names, who wants to look at that, right? That's craziness. So we wanted to make it smaller so it's more usable for you guys and hopefully give you the tools that you need. The other component to this is this weekly call that we're on right now. So I'm talking a lot right now, but normally each week you're going to hear from different leaders and we're going to hear from you. What's working? What questions do you have? A good rule of thumb, in my opinion, if you've done 5 to 10 reach outs and you've had no response, then you may want to tweak your wording. There may be something that's just not quite resonating with people right now. That's what this call will be for. It'll be for you to say, hey, here's what I'm saying and nobody's getting back to me. What should I do now? It'll be a chance for you to say, here's what somebody said back. Now what do I tell them? So this is your chance to just bounce ideas off of people, get some motivation, and get some support as you're working. So I strongly encourage you, put these on your calendar for every Sunday night. It's only 6 weeks. I'm not asking for the rest of your life. I'm just asking for 5 more calls where we can be here together and support each other. Okay? All right, so the final things I want to talk about are more of the how-to. So before I move into that, anybody have a question? Anything I didn't cover that you want to know about? You can either type in chat or you can manually unmute yourself if you want to ask a question.
Kristen, I have a question.
Okay, go for it, Jamie.
So on these, touching back on those 12 little boxes, that is having conversation about Rodan and Fields.
Yep.
It's not following up with a, how was your weekend or anything like that. It's.
Well, in my opinion, you're going to have to decide where it tips. Because obviously we all know if we just send short little messages, we could go back and forth 12 times pretty quickly. Like, how old is your oldest daughter? 10. Oh, and you have a middle child? Yes. How old is she? 8. Well, gosh, I've already got 6 touches there, right?
Yeah.
Not really. So I might count that as one touch because it was a conversation we had tonight. And then the next time we have a conversation, it's another touch, even if it's not about Rodan and Fields. Okay. So on one hand, I'm not saying it has to be 12 Rodan and Fields touches, but on the other hand, I'm saying, again, you guys can all kind of police yourself. If you're like, touch, 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 whoop, I don't know why she didn't say yes yet. I mean, we sat here for 13 seconds talking. I don't know what her problem is. That's obviously not going to get you very far either. So At some point, I mentally tip those into, I'm not counting it again until we start talking about Rodan and Fields. But initially, maybe even my first couple touches are just, how's it going? What are you up to? How's your holidays? That kind of stuff. So
okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Anybody else? Questions on the nuts and bolts of this before we talk about how we're going to do it? No? I like that I can see you. So you can even no, we're good. We've got this. Okay. So I'm seeing lots of we're good. Let's move on. Okay. So let me tell you the behind the scenes to this. I'll be totally honest with you guys. When I first heard about this, I had a major eye roll. I was like, 5 a day. I've been doing Rodan and Fields for 5.5 years now. I don't have 5 new people a day anymore, and I just don't have time. I really don't think I can do this, so whatever. And then I started thinking about it, and I thought, I'm really not where I want to be yet. There's a whole lot of growth out there that I plan to do this year. So if somebody's challenging me to reach out to people, why the heck am I not saying yes? Right? So you guys probably didn't even have this struggle because here you are on the call. Clearly you weren't intimidated by it at all, but I was. And I was finding myself thinking, I don't know about this. I think this is probably not for me. And I did a 180 and decided, you know what? If you want to get some growth, you better get to work. So here were my two struggles as I was thinking about it. And I'm hoping that we can help each other think these through tonight. The first one was, where the heck am I going to find people? Right? 5 new people a day for 6 weeks, that's 150 new names. Now, if you're brand new in the business, you're probably like, no problem, I got 300 names, that'll just get me halfway through. But if you're any length of time into your business, it's probably a little intimidating to think of finding new names. So how are we going to find them? Well, that's partly where that 5 new Facebook friends comes into play. Again, you're not immediately reaching out to those people when you friend them, but it is growing your network and growing your funnel. So that's going to help. And we'll talk, maybe on a next call, we can talk about where to find those Facebook friends. But so one place you're going to find some of these people is Facebook. The next place is you're going to go back. You're going to look through all of your contacts again. If you're old like me, you may decide that, like personally, some of the people I talked to my first year in business, that's been 5 years now. If I reach out to them again, they're new in my book. I'm calling that new. So you might go back to people that you haven't talked to for years if you're an oldie like me. There may be people on your list that you've never talked to. You may have new Facebook friends through the holidays that you haven't reached out to yet. So it's a lot of the list building that we've always done, but you're going to have to redo it to find some of those new names. Lots of other ideas. Becky Chapman said that she would share a few ideas that she has for how to find new people. So Becky, can you unmute yourself, my dear? There you are. Okay.
So obviously Facebook is a great source of getting new names. There's a file or a form or a directions on how to download your list of Facebook friends. So you can actually get a hard copy that you can print out, and that's really helpful to have those and see. Because when I looked at my list, when I printed it out, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I had that friend as a Facebook friend. So that was helpful. Yearbooks. I just uncovered my stack of yearbooks from all my grade school, elementary yearbooks. Those are a great source of contacts that you just didn't really think about. The memory jogger is a really good document in the BizDev library to go through that and think of people from that list and kind of remind you, because sometimes you'll run into people and, oh my goodness, I totally forgot about this person. It wasn't a person right front and center. You can look at your husband's list, your friend's list, and see if you have people that have like maybe 20 or more people in common with you, and then check and see if those people, they have a bunch of Rodan Fields friends that may not be someone you want to add for a prospect. And maybe somebody you want to be friends with, so you want to add them anyway. But that's my hot tips there. When you look at your list, I know that when I looked at my list, I was like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person or that person. But everybody on your list can be either referral, connector to someone else. They may even be a customer or consultant, but you never know. You have to reach out to them and give them that option.
Awesome. Good points, Becky. I love the yearbooks. I had never thought of that before. That's a great idea. Just thinking about all those people that you might know. Another good strategy on Facebook is to look in your Facebook groups that you belong to. For instance, like my school has a group for each one of my kids. So sometimes I go through that because there'll be parents that I see there every day and say hi to, but I'm not friends with them on Facebook. So that's an easy way to connect with people. There's lots of ways you can find people. One other person I wanted to call on tonight, Jess Vasico, is wonderful at just finding people. So Jess, your turn, my dear. Tell us, how are you going to find some of these new 5 people?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
I think a big way that I'm going to go out, I love Becky's tips. Those were so great, and I'm going to definitely utilize those. But I think it's just a matter of lifestyle prospecting too, and going out and actually meeting new people. I know that this time of year I commit to doing a new yoga class. I commit to, getting out and walking and going to the park and doing stuff just for my health. So I think that while I'm there, that's a really good place for me to meet new people and connect and just become Facebook friends that way, because that's a really non-intimidating way for people to stay connected, because you're not being creepy and asking for a phone number of somebody you just met, but most people are on Facebook. So that's probably a really big way that I'm going to go out and about and talk to moms at school that I, haven't talked to or met in my kids' class. Just out and about. Yeah, I think that's mostly the big way, in addition to what Vicki was talking about, for sure.
Thank you. Those are good
You
tips
bet.
too. Personally, I'm going to just keep track. And if I'm hitting the end of the week and I don't have my 25 people that I'm talking to, I'm leaving the house. I'm going to go somewhere, whether I go to the mall or the library or just go work in Starbucks and be that friendly person that people, hi, what are you drinking today? You connect with people and you meet people, and you never know who you might find. So we will keep working on this, I promise. Right now, you just need 25 names to get you through the week, and then we'll get back together next Sunday and help you find the next 25 names. But the point I wanted, and thank you to both Jess and to Becky for sharing, the point is I just wanted you to know we are all facing that same challenge. We are all looking at this thinking, how am I going to find these people? And yet, if you push yourself, I guarantee you they are out there. Okay? Think about it the opposite way. Right now when you're thinking, gosh, where am I going to find these people? Well, flip it around. Do you truly believe there's no one else that you're ever going to meet in the rest of your life? Like, is this it for you? You're done. You're never going to meet another new person. You're never going to talk to a different person than the people you know right now. Of course not, right? Like, we're all 100% sure that we're going to make new friends and meet new people. So you can be 100% sure that all those people are also people that eventually you can move into your Rodan and Fields pipeline. All right. So then my other worry, when I first heard this challenge, my other worry was, so what do we say to all these people when we're reaching out, right? And that's one that I hear a lot too, is I just feel like either what I'm saying is not fresh anymore, or I'm brand new and I don't even know what to say. So whatever that is for you, we're going to talk for just a second about some ideas of what to say. Certainly, we've got a few that we've already covered. We've talked about just the, hey, how's it going? Happy New Year. Loved seeing your kids' Christmas pictures, things like that. Another strategy that I find is really helpful is just stop for a minute and think about, why do you want to talk to this person? Like, be honest. Why do you want to talk to them? Are they funny? Are they kind? Are they fun to be around? Do they know a lot of people? Are they really smart? Are they good at business? Like, what is it that makes you think, are they into skincare? Are they always posting about beauty stuff? Like, what? And then just say that when you reach out. You could say, hey, Erica, I know it's been a while since we chatted, but I notice you're always posting fun beauty tips. I work for a skincare company. I would love to connect with you. Maybe we could network a little bit. So if you start with the reason for why you're reaching out, hey, Susie, I'm messaging you because you are one of my favorite people to be around. You are always the life of the party, and I'm having an event in a couple weeks. I would love to have you show up. I think it'd make the whole night more fun for everybody. So just be sincere, flatter people, but tell them why you're reaching out. Now, don't make stuff up, right? Like the wallflower that never talks to anybody, you're not going to be like, you are always just the life of the party. No, she knows she's not the life of the party. She has other strengths. So figure out what it is and be sincere. If you truly can't find a single positive thing to say about the person, move them down on your list, because that's not a fun person to reach out to anyway, right? Leave them to be like number 149 if you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, and find a new person to go in your first 25. So that's I think a great strategy, is think about why you like the person and why you're reaching out to them, and use that when you first connect with them. Another strategy for what to say to people is, if it's somebody you've talked to ages ago, you could just say something like, I can't believe it's been 3 years since I first reached out to you about Rodan and Fields. That's crazy. So much has happened since then. any chance we could get on the phone and I could bring you up to date? So the other, I guess, all of this is kind of flirting around one of the other strategies I like to use, which is if there's any awkwardness, then I feel like a teacher. I feel like I need to call out like Carrie and Jess for jacking with each other because I can tell what you girls are doing. Okay, sorry. So if there's any awkwardness, I find it's really helpful to just call that out right off the bat. So maybe it's someone you haven't talked to in years. Okay, so one option is to go on the like, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? Rebuild the relationship a little bit. But another option is just to go straight for it. If that's what you're going to do, call it out. Hey, Susie, we haven't talked in years, so I know it's kind of crazy that I'm messaging you. But I noticed you live in Texas, and I'd love to expand in Texas. Is there any chance we could network a little bit? Right? So, or if the awkwardness is, I know we just met at a party last week, and you're thinking, gosh, how do I talk to this person? I just met her. Say it. Okay, this may be kind of weird because we just met last week, but I can't quit thinking about you. I think you'd be great at what I do. Do you have any interest in a new side income? Right? So just call out whatever the weird is, say it right off the bat, and then hopefully you can move past it instead of having to kind of dance around it and be insincere. Ultimately, you want to be sincere. If it feels more natural to you to just go back and forth and build a relationship, then do it. If it feels more natural to you to cut straight to it, do that. But then just be ready to tweak it. So do your first 10 reach outs, and if it's just not coming together for you, post on our Daring Greatly page and say that. All right, I've done my 10 reach outs so far. Nothing much is happening. What should I say? And you can even screenshot. Here's the last 3 reach outs I did. Anybody have some feedback for me? Okay, that requires some humility, right? It's hard to put your screenshots of your reach outs up there and have all of us on the team say, well, say it differently here and cut this, and I don't like how you said that. But it could make a huge difference, right? If you're not getting responses, put it out there and let people tell you. So those are some suggestions I have for what to say. We'll keep working on this, okay? We'll keep working on how to find people, what to say, how to find new Facebook friends, because we're going to do these reach outs together. So I did want to tackle those first 2 questions right off the bat. So with that, that's all I've got for tonight. We're right at 8. We'll stay on for just a few more minutes if anybody has questions. So over the whole thing, what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, anything you want to talk about, this is your chance. So what do you have to say? I'm giving you guys a minute to figure out how to unmute yourself. So
Can you hear my husband?
okay, I can hear everybody. Oh, that's Erica, right?
I just wanted to say, you were saying, because I struggled with reach out language, making it me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a really bold personality. Most people know that. So it was like, how do I take this, and don't take this the wrong way, anybody, please, but how do I take this really proper, skincare company and turn it into a woman who says shit, right? So I was struggling with that. And I just started texting my stuff to Becky Chapman, who's my level 5, and just texting like, what does this look like, before I'd respond. And so she'd come back and, oh, this looks good, or do this, or I would go with this, stuff like that. Once I had those tweaked, I started saving them in a Word document. So now I have my own little Bible of reach out language that when I'm stuck, I can go back and look and be like, oh, okay, this was a good one here, or whatever, maybe it needs a little tweaking. But when you were saying that, talking about reach out language, that's what I was thinking of. And just, yeah, we got to make it our own, but it doesn't mean we have to throw it away and start over every single time either,
Yep.
So that was just my motivation.
Thank you so much. And I love that you shared that for 2 reasons. One, because I think it's an awesome idea, and it's an idea that we can all use, because that's the whole idea. You want to make this sound like you, but you also want to be open to feedback so that it's actually effective. So you're kind of striking that balance so that you don't sound like everybody else, but you are getting results. But the other reason I love that you shared it is because that's a perfect example of what we're here for. We're not just here to say like questions from the one person who's talking on the call. we want this call to be about you guys sharing what works for you so that we can all learn together. So Erica, thank you so much for setting the model in that way. I really appreciate it. Anybody else? What's working for you? Questions? Anything about this that scares you? I'm scrolling through all the faces because now we're on.
Hey, Kristen.
Hey.
This is Andrea.
Oh, hey, Andrea. Okay, go for it, my dear.
I started a new thing, and it's kind of a culmination of a few different development things that I have listened to, and one is a TED Talk about the fear of rejection or something like that, and where he like literally pressed himself to like go to somebody's doorstep and say, hey, can I plant this plant? Can I plant this in your yard? And one of the things that he talked about was like saying, I hope this doesn't sound weird. And so then and I've kind of in my directs, like having conversations back and forth, but in my directs, I'm like, I hope this doesn't sound weird to you, but, and it's my ask for referrals. And I'm asking like, but I know you are savvy, or you have a great network, or you're into beauty. And I'm hoping that and people have been responding to that, just kind of lowering that resistance, saying, hey, I hope this isn't weird, but I really have been thinking about you, and you've been on my mind because I know you are this, and then your network is probably like you. So if you have any referrals, I would love for you to think about that, and then following up with them. And I've had some response like, yeah, hey, I'd be happy to help you with that. So that's something that I have found has been helpful recently.
Great. Thank you. I love that language. And it's, you guys have to go with what feels right in the moment. But sometimes there are those people that we're just kind of like, gosh, how do I even start with them? And I think that's a wonderful bridge in with somebody to just say, I hope this doesn't sound weird, and then move right into what you were going to say. That's awesome. All right, one more. Anybody else have something to ask or something to share? It's because I said one more, that you guys are like,
I think the only thing I would say is that when you're doing your reach outs and you're touching someone for the first time is to make sure that you're doing it genuinely. I think if you're going after the product or the business, immediately and being greedy, I think you're going to get nowhere usually. I think people are smarter than that. So I think that's the thing I've learned the most, is to make sure you're being genuine and being just a good human being, instead of being like, oh my God, I need to get 5 new consultants in the next 5 weeks, and I've got to get these people going and get them. I don't know. I just think it backfires on you. That was my biggest concern about the 555, was that, okay, I can do that. That's not a problem. I love talking to people and I love reaching out, but I have to change the way I'm doing it. I want to be as genuine as possible.
Well, we say over and over that we're in the relationship business, not the skincare business. But then if we turn it around and say, okay, but I want you to do 5 business reach outs every day, that's not the relationship business, right?
No.
So you're absolutely right, Marcy. We have to be genuine and remember that we're building the relationship. We balance that with, we can't be so focused on the relationship that we never actually move to taking some action. If we hide behind the relationship, like I'm great friends with a ton of people and I've messaged a ton of people, but I've never actually said to anybody what I do or who I'm looking for. That won't help you grow either. So it's finding that middle ground, and you're so right. It comes back to focusing on the relationship.
Well, I think in that video, she even said it takes 12 times. Mm-hmm. So, and 12 touches. And that doesn't mean 12 reminders that I sell Rodan and Fields. It's actually 12 like, hey, how are you? And like you were saying, no, you don't want to count that as 12 times if it goes back and forth. No, I understand that. But I just think, because that's a little cheesy. Yeah, you're right. Like, oh, you have a 12-year-old? So do I. There's 2.
Right.
So, no. But I don't know. I have found that, I don't know if it's I don't know. I just think it's more genuine. I think that's a good word.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So before we wrap up, Erica had her hand up, but then she stepped away from the thing. So let me see if she's still willing.
I'm good. I got my question answered. Okay.
Okay. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you for a couple things. Thank you for being on tonight for our kickoff call. Thank you for being brave enough to take this challenge with me, because it's a biggie. But I think too, thank you for just believing in what's possible this year. Because if you commit to this, I promise you, you will see good things happen. I promise. I mean, it's never in 5.5 years that I've been with Rodan and Fields. When I see people who dig in and consistently do reach outs for 6 weeks, they always see growth. I don't know what kind it'll be. I can't promise how many consultants, how many customers. I don't know, but I know you will grow if you do this with just genuine and you dive into it. So we'll do it together. Watch for the accountability spreadsheet from your upline level 5 and meet us back here next Sunday night. All right? Good night, everybody.